Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Please make sure as you join that you are liking for the algorithm. Y'all should know by now. What's today? Wednesday? Hope everybody's having a great Wednesday. What you drinking on? I'm getting ready to have me a little red. Oh, nah, that's going too fast. We're gonna give it a sec, let the room fill up a little bit. Shout out to Uncompetitive in the building. We got Mark in the building. Have a little red, nice little cab. This is one of my go-tos. This actually is one of my favorites, and it's cheap too. Well, it's a what's the right way to say it? It's a very low price point. Very low price point. Do I have a cup? Hold on. Where's my cup? Hold on 1 second. I don't like the way the dishwasher. That's why you gotta wash it. You gotta wash your wine glasses by hand. Gotta wash your wine glasses by hand. But good evening, all. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to the Wind Down. We already got a few regulars here. We got Uncompetitive and Mark in the building. Shout out to you. Trump the garbage man. Yo! What's wild is, you know what? I heard about the troll. Well, I heard about, my homeboy said that Trump was on the garbage truck. But do you know that I didn't even put two and two together, that was a, yo, Trump really different. Trump is really different, man. I was going to say, I don't get how people hate Trump. Let me turn this music off. I was going to say, I do understand how people can hate Trump. I do understand how people can hate Trump. Yo, he's that much of a character. It's like, it's like you either love him or you hate him, or I don't know, at least or you just find him super entertaining. But I mean, if he's not on your team, I can definitely understand why you would hate him. You probably just hate that, you know, he's not on your team. You know, one of those players that you would like if they're on your team, but you hate them because they're on the other team. We know how that goes. Trump did the whole rally in an, yo, stop playing. Hold on. I got to find this. Send me the link, bro. Send me the link if you can. Because I swear I'm so caught up on reviewing the things that we're going to discuss tonight. I completely missed that. I saw him driving around on the trucker. He got picked up on the garbage truck or something like that. And it had a Trump flag on it or something. If I saw it correctly. But I want to make sure. Dang, did I see that right? Hold up. We blocking. Throw that in. We getting in the way, bro. We ain't hiding the fam. A little football. Got enough of these things around. All right, man. All right. So how's everybody doing? First and foremost, how's everybody doing? Were we on yesterday? Was that last night? That was a lively show. What was it? KD, WD? Who was supposed to come back to us? I forget my bro's name, man. He was supposed to tap in with us tonight. I was going to say we'll check out the Sean Hannity, but we're not even going to watch that. I thought it was going to be a little bit more groundbreaking than that, than what we saw yesterday. So we don't even need to worry about that. But what do we have on the schedule? Let's see. So, of course, we're going to talk about Joe Biden calling Trump supporters garbage. If I could find the video I got to figure out a way to find the video. If somebody could send a link for the video of him, I guess his get back getting picked up in the garbage truck. Apparently, hold on, who Mark said that, right? Mark said that he did the whole rally in an orange garbage man vest. And shout out to big bro Doug in the building. Mark, he walked off his jet in a high of his vest and jumped in a garbage truck and took questions. Yo, this is crazy. This is hilarious. This is hilarious. This is hilarious. All right, man. This is an interesting. I'm almost gonna miss it when, after Tuesday. I'm almost gonna miss it. Because we've been getting some good content from both sides. Trump the garbage man was an awesome troll, man. All right, so let's get into it. Got my brother Boog in the building. Shout out to Boog. MW, you already know. Mark knows. Mark remembers. It was MW, man. Can y'all see this cup? Nah, I gotta hold on. 1 second. Hold on. Give me a sec. Matter of fact, had to get my cup right, man. Even though I know the cup was clean, you know how it has the dry stuff. I'm like, I don't want all that on there. And my brother Boog in the building. So shout out to Mont. I know it's not a wine glass. So what? Don't worry about what's in my cup. This is my brother Mont. Shout out to the team, him and Mina. All right, let's get into it. We got a lot to go over today, so I'm not gonna hold y'all up any more than I already have. So let's get into it. Let's get into this this Joe Biden statement. In my opinion, I don't know about y'all, but when I first saw this, I'm like, yo, Joe Biden is definitely trying to sabotage this. It was a few different things. It was either, this is what I thought. Either Joe Biden's trying to sabotage Kamala, or his cognitive decline is just extremely severe. That's what I thought. I was like, it's got to be one or the other. But let's hear from Uncle Joe, see what he's talking about, because I had to question it. I was like, yo, did he just call me garbage? Like, did Uncle Joe just call me garbage? So we'll take a look at it right here. Uncle Joe, where you at? All right, let's take a look. I've been feeling this view, by the way. Lately, I've been feeling this view. So let's check it out on this view. There we go. Matter of fact, never mind. I changed my mind. We'll see. We shall see. All right, let me make this full screen so y'all get the full effect.
Significant own goal from the current president of the United States. He's referred to Donald Trump's supporters as garbage.
Puerto Rico, where I'm in my home state of Delaware, they're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
He was responding to a joke that was made at the Madison Square Garden rally by a comedian where he called Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage. But either way, that is an own goal from the president, potentially a damaging one just a week out from the election, and reminiscent of this comment by Hillary Clinton all those years back.
Before we get into Hillary's comment, when y'all hear something like that, what do y'all think? Before we get into Hillary's comment. All right, so first and foremost, it's like, yo, there's a week left. The Democrats, with Tony Hinchcliffe, the comedian that made the comments that everybody was insulted and offended by, the Democrats, MSNBC had everything they needed. CNN had everything they needed to gain some type of motivation, or not motivation, some type of momentum this last week. They had everything that they were calling Trump. They were able to highlight that in this comedian set / speech. Tony Hinchcliffe. He talked about what Palestinians, talked about Jewish people, talked about Puerto Ricans, talked about black people, talked about a lot of Americans. And they were able to highlight that. The main thing that we heard people talking about was the comedian saying that Puerto Rico was a floating piece of garbage, right? That was the joke. I know I'm not saying it the right way, but that was the joke. So Joe Biden decides, like, I literally, if I was sitting in the Republican room, I would be saying, like, damn, we had 1 week, this just comedian, we allowed it. You know, now they have some bait to run on. And then what does Joe Biden do? He jumps out the window and calls Trump supporters garbage. Like, I don't even know, but that's what you get. That's what you get, Democrats, Nancy Pelosi. That's what you get, Barack Obama, Michelle Obama, and Kamala Harris. That's what y'all get for trying to bully Uncle Joe, who beat Trump the first time. Y'all tried to play him. Y'all tried to manipulate him with saying, hey, you're going to be our presidential candidate, just so they wouldn't have an open primary. So Kamala or anybody else that they wanted to squeeze on in could just slide their way on in because it's too late to have a primary. So y'all tried to play Uncle Joe, and Nancy Pelosi and the team bullied him out. So now he's mad. And who's even more mad than him is probably his wife, because I don't think that she lost her cognitive ability. Joe Biden's is on the decline. It is what it is. But his wife, Jill Biden, in my opinion, she's not taking kind to what happened to Joe Biden. And Joe Biden, in my opinion, he may have just sabotaged any election chances that she had. Now, I also did say that I was predicting that I could see it being a landslide, but that's more a landslide with the Electoral College. What Joe Biden just said, I don't know. It's looking ugly. It's looking ugly. Hold on. Let me check some of these comments. So Mark wrote deplorables, undesirables, terrorists, insurrectionists, threats to democracy, fascists, Nazis, garbage. What haven't they called conservatives? That's an excellent point. But if you ask them, they'll say that the conservatives are the one with all the name calling. Uncompetitive wrote, people were worried about Tony Hinchcliffe's joke and blaming Trump for it when it wasn't his fault. And now Biden took garbage and insulted most of the country with it. Let me ask y'all this. Do you think that it'll be impactful? Do you think that it'll be something significant, or do you think that it's something that people will think about today, but then not even focus on it tomorrow? What do y'all think? What are y'all thinking? All right, hold on. Let me, I told y'all 914. That's a number for me. All right, so honestly, they would have done better with AOC. Uncompetitive. I don't know. Actually, it's funny that you say that. AOC, in a lot of ways, I think would have performed better than Kamala Harris, but she doesn't have the record that Kamala. I mean, Kamala is the vice president. Now, I do believe that she was forcibly put into that position when black people demanded that Joe Biden hire a vice president that's a black woman. So I understand that. But when it comes to AOC, she's not that impressive to me. She's not that impressive to me. I do think that she could, from the position that she's in now, I think that in my mind, I was thinking that she would be she'd be able to perform better. She'd be able to memorize the lines a little bit better than Kamala. But in all actuality, I guess, I mean, before Kamala ran, I think a lot of people would have thought that she would have been able to perform better. So maybe there's just something about that spotlight. Maybe it's just like Mayweather. Maybe Trump is just like Mayweather. Everybody says what they're going to do to him. Everybody says they could beat him. But when they actually get in the ring, it's a little different. It's a little different. Now, some people may say, well, she got in the ring with him during the debate. She won that. I didn't think that she won the debate. I think that it was a 3-on-1, and I think that a lot of the fact checkers gave off the appearance that she won, but I didn't believe that. But maybe she did. So uncompetitive road, I think they will lose 2 states. Wow. Uncompetitive road. The thing I thought was significant was the Auschwitz survivor angry that the Democrats were comparing Trump to the man who murdered his family. That's what I don't understand. When they constantly compare Donald Trump to Hitler and his followers as Nazis or him as a Nazi, to me, it's disrespectful, and it downplays the actual situation that a lot of Jewish people and their family members went through with a terrible situation like a Hitler. It's like you're referring like Donald Trump. Just think about it like this. A lot of us, like myself, we see Donald Trump a lot differently than we saw him maybe 7-8 years ago when we first heard the altered comments about Charlottesville saying there's very fine people on both sides. We think differently. So now when people call Donald Trump Hitler and say he's a Nazi and all these other things, are people supposed to look back and say, well, damn, like they said all this stuff about Trump and I don't really feel that way anymore. Should I question, the severity of the situation with Hitler and the Holocaust? I don't know. So I don't even know why Jewish people allow the Democrats to spew this type of rhetoric and call Trump Hitler and all this stuff. I don't know. Who knows? But I guess if it's beneficial, I guess if they're on the Democrat side, then they'll be a little bit more open to it. But I wouldn't be okay with it. But let's keep going. Let's listen to what Hillary said. So they're comparing what Joe Biden mentioned as far as Trump's followers being garbage to what Hillary said. And they said that this was something that impacted her very close to the election. So let's take a look at what she was saying.
We are living in a volatile political environment. To just be grossly generalistic, you could put half of Trump's supporters into what I call the basket of deplorables. Right? The racist, sexist, homophobic, xenophobic, Islamophobic, you name it. And unfortunately, there are people like that.
We'll have more on the comment.
Yeah, I'm gonna be real. She just gives off evil vibes. She gives off the vibes of the slave owner's wife, who doesn't care anything about the slaves, only cares about her family doing well and being successful. Or just is what it is. Call it what it is. Maybe you could say that I'm doing what I just said that we shouldn't do when it comes to calling Donald Trump Hitler, but I see her as that evil person. I really see her as an evil person. When different conversations, different videos that I saw when they, I think it was the video when they killed Gaddafi. But just her, she's evil, in my opinion. She's an evil person, but to each their own.
Went by Joe Biden, and we're going to have the interview that Donald Trump's just doing as we speak with colleagues in the United States at Fox. We'll have that for you in just a moment.
You gave me so much.
Oh, no, not yet. Y'all ain't getting that yet. Y'all aren't getting that yet. Hold on. All right, so that's that. Who knows if it's going to really have an impact? Y'all let me know. Do y'all think that this is going to make any people that were already voting for Kamala not vote for her? Is it going to make any undecided voters not vote for her? Is it going to make some people that love Joe Biden maybe lean Donald Trump's way? I don't know. Or is it just going to make the people that were already voting for Trump and the people that were already voting for Kamala just more confident about who they're voting for? I don't know. Let's keep moving. So let's move on to, all right, so this was one of the most triggering. Yes, I was triggered. This is one of the most triggering. Was I triggered or what? I was bothered. I was disappointed in it. I thought it was, I've been saying this word disgusting a lot. So I was looking for a different way to say it, but I was disgusted by this video. And I'm going to tell y'all exactly why. I'm going to show y'all exactly why. I already got it queued up. Take a look at this Kamala commercial. So, and I'm going to hold my thoughts until the end, because these thoughts are going to play out not only in this video, but also in some of the other videos that we'll review throughout the show. But I want y'all to take a look at this. Take a look here.
Hear the professional take from you guys. Let's play the commercial.
Your turn, honey.
In the one place in America where women still have a right to choose. You can vote any way you want. And no one will ever know.
Did you make the right choice?
Sure did, honey.
Remember, what happens in the booth stays in the booth. Vote Harris Walls. Vote Common Good is responsible for the contents of this ad.
Okay. If that commercial doesn't bother you, then I don't even know what to say. Maybe that if that commercial doesn't bother you, then maybe you're part of the reason why our culture of America is what it is today. This is another form of emasculation. It's another form of, and this is the thing, Kamala Harris wants to run on being a black woman, right? Okay, so if you want to run on being a black woman, what is the number one issue that black families or black communities face? The number one issue, in my opinion, it's not having a leader as a father in the house. Not having a father in the house. Not having a leader that is respected enough to where women and the kids want to follow. So now you put out a ad, a commercial, that is pretty much telling a woman to go against her husband. To go against her husband, who we're supposed to rely on for leadership, for however your roles are in your family, that's what your roles are. But since when is it okay to either go behind your husband's back or go behind your wife's back? When is it okay to lie about who you're voting for? Now, you got to read between the lines with some of this. I don't even know if you have to read between the lines. Some people would say, well, who said that? When the guy said that, did you do the right thing? How do you know what he meant by doing the right thing? Well, look at the first part of the commercial. Why else would they have to say? And they start off the commercial saying, this is the only place where you still have the right to choose, or something like that. This is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Like, could you imagine trying to convince families, hey, forget what you and your husband agreed on. Forget what your husband, thought. Just vote for me. Vote for Kamala. This is the type of person that a lot of people are voting for. This is the emasculation that shows up in so many different areas where black men and like we've talked about this plenty of times before. The issues that we used to just call black issues, as far as fatherlessness and fathers not being in the household, and a lot of kids growing up in single parent households, and not enough men being capable leaders to where women want to follow them, and the men that are capable leaders, the women still push back on following them. This is the problem that we're seeing to spread throughout America. And this is what she just created a commercial ad off of. She wants your vote by any means necessary, even if it means lying to your significant other, your partner, right? We're partners, right? So since when is it okay to lie to your partner, right? Don't y'all embrace that partner word? So when is it okay to vote for your partner? I'm going to give you an example. I had a conversation with somebody close to me. Somebody close to me who, in my family, I'm not going to say who, but it was a woman. And she was telling me about, who she's voting for, or she was kind of questioning it. And even though she was getting ready to make a decision to who to vote for, somebody that I wasn't going to vote for, like I said, if the votes today, I'm planning on voting for Trump. Like, I'm going on Monday to Florida to vote for Trump, unless something comes up. So I want to be very clear on that while explaining this story. She was telling me that she was not voting for Trump. She was telling me that she was going to vote for either independent or Kamala. And I told her, I said, you should vote with your husband. You should talk to your husband at the very least. And even if you guys want to agree on the fact and say, hey, you vote independent and you vote Kamala because we want to be able to support, but whatever you decide on, it should be a decision made with your partner, right? Isn't that what partners do? And Kamala Harris is saying, forget that partner, forget your marriage, forget all these things are breaking up families. We know how politics are causing significant issues in relationships, whether it's husbands and wives, boyfriends and girlfriends, whether it's just family members, cousins, friends. We know how this is impacting people, and she puts out that type of commercial. How can you respect somebody like that? How can you respect a campaign like that? Let me read some comments. Skeeg, shout out to my brother Skeeg in the building. And uncompetitive, I saw you said a lot of men vote late, so it may impact it. It may impact it. I guess I'm one of the ones voting late. Uncompetitive vote. However, I would advise people to vote early, even on the day of the election, because there could be so many people wanting to vote that the queues could be so long. you don't get to vote. Yeah, I'm going down there a day early. I'm going down a day early. Merce wrote, looks like a Dave Chappelle skit. Uncompetitive wrote, I think that ad is the least egregious thing they have done. You are all free to secretly vote for who you want and pretend to vote and spoil your ballot. I have to ask you, Uncompetitive, did you grow up in a single parent household? I want to ask you if you're black. And I want to just ask you because I think perspectives matter when it comes to this conversation. I think that hands down, any black man watching that video would feel some type of way. And if you don't, I'm questioning things. Just based on what has happened with the Democratic Party incentivizing black women. This has been something that's been going on for over 70 years. With Democrats emasculating black men and using black women as their pawns. This has been something that has been going on for a very long time. So when we see something like this, it impacts us in a different way, because when you take the father out of the household, it may not mean the same thing for different cultures, but I'll tell you what it means for black communities. It means that son is more likely to get locked up, that daughter is more likely to have a baby early. Both are less likely to be successful, however you deem success. So there's a lot of things that plays into. So perspectives may matter when it comes to that. So Mark wrote, blacks were well on the way to outdoing decadent whites. They had decent whites. I'm not sure if decadent whites. They had family, church, community, and the war on poverty took that from them. No men in the house in order for women to get welfare. Mark, this is what I'm talking about. This is the Lyndon B. Johnson approach. Social programs. When he said that he'll give this to us and he'll have the black vote for 200 years. These are the real military mind games that they play. These are the real military mind games. And Uncompetitive wrote, no, I'm white. And I had to ask that, okay. And you said I had two parents, but they didn't discuss politics. So that's why I'm saying it. If you understand from the black community, that has single-handedly led to the destruction of the black family. Black men not being in the household. Because when the black man is not in the household to provide and protect, what does that do? It opens the family up to have, when a black man's not in the household, the child's more likely to get sexually abused. All these different things occur. It creates a terrible culture within that family, and it leads to a lot of problems that we suffer from, whether it's kids going elsewhere for father figures, joining gangs, feeling the need to be a part of something because they don't have that family structure. So now they're outside doing dumb stuff, trying to prove themselves. All of these different things matter. When a little girl doesn't grow up with a father to protect her in the household, she's more likely to be doing whatever sexually. It's a significant problem. VT wrote, Biden is telling the truth. If you vote for Trump, you will get locked up. Shout out to VT. It's always a two-letter name. At first it was like MW, then it was MT or something. Yeah, shout out to VT. We need you here. Please don't go. Please don't go. Uncompetitive wrote, women's suffrage is worthless without women having a secret vote, independent of their husband's oversight. Women's suffrage is worthless without women having a secret vote, independent of their husband's oversight. I'm not sure that I understand that. Women's suffrage is worthless without women having a secret vote. Break that down a little bit for me. I'm not sure that I'm understanding it. Maybe my brain's moving a little bit delayed. Brenna wrote, yo, homie, you stream pretty cool, and I would love to be a friend of you and fan. If you don't mind, kindly add me up on Discord. Yeah, we could be friends. Stop playing. I don't have Discord though. VT said Harris will win. VT, we need you here. Make sure you stay in the building. All right, so we're gonna move on to the next video. Matter of fact, let's I'm gonna let, since Jason Whitlock, he showed us the video, I'm gonna let him see what their was.
Anthony, is that commercial biblically sound?
Not at all. Not at all. I don't expect anything from a party or a platform that attempts to redefine what man and woman is, redefine what marriage is. So if they're going to redefine that, then they're also going to redefine how you should function in marriage. So that if that means lying to your spouse about whatever you do, including voting, that's obviously what it is. And all of that goes antithetical to what the word says about it. It reminds me of, in Exodus chapter 30, we talked about it in our prayer call, how God says, I'm sitting before you now, life and death.
Hold on, I got to address what Uncompetitive just wrote. So Uncompetitive wrote, women didn't used to have the right to vote. They got the right to vote. The same secret vote as men. If their husbands know how they vote, they may as well give the ballot to their husband. This is what's so uncompetitive. All right, so a few different things here. For one, I said that you should talk with your partner, right? And do something and agree on things with your partner. There should be no secret vote within a relationship, within a marriage. If you're holding secrets about who you're voting for, what other secrets are you holding? Like, you're supposed to be a team. What type of team have you been on where people are not honest and real and genuine and have ulterior motives where that works? Like, I don't understand. And then from this perspective, if you want your man to be the leader, because let me talk from your example. If you want your man to be the leader, then there's going to be a lot of things that come with it's almost as if the leader, like if I have a leader on the team, they're going to accept the things that come with when the team doesn't do well, right? They're going to accept those things. So as a man, as the leader in the household, if something goes wrong with the family, you take all the blame. So with all that blame and all that responsibility and all that weight on the shoulders, if based on the situation that you're describing, then that man should maybe have more of an emphasis or more of an input on who they're voting for. That's just my opinion. If you're relying on that man, and I'm just saying there's different types of relationships. If you more have a partnership, then cool. But if you see your man as the leader of your family, which is what I'm hearing a lot of women say, I know there's a lot of women that want to, 50-50, partner, cool, all that stuff. To each their own. However you decide to do it, you do it. Cool. But in your example, if that man is that leader in the household, then why would a woman, let's flip it. Ladies, why do y'all even want to get with a guy that you wouldn't trust their leadership? Of course, you're going to have a certain level of input. Of course. But in any two people, when the two people disagree, one person has to be the breaking vote, right? So if I'm the leader and I'm the one that's going to accept the responsibility if things go wrong, then don't you think I should also have the responsibility of maybe having a little bit more when it comes to the decision of who we're going with? Like, damn, y'all want women to have shit. Y'all just want women to have everything. It's like this is crazy. Like, yes, team and teamwork. All right, BT, stay with me. You agree with me once. I don't know if you'll agree with me for the rest of the show, but I appreciate it. Uncompetitive wrote, all right, then vote for a candidate that will give men 5 ballots and women 1. Uncompetitive. Oh my God. I'm getting real white savior liberal vibes from you, Uncompetitive. That's what I'm getting. I'm just being honest. I just don't understand it, but to each their own, However you set up your relationship, that's how you set up yours. Men don't die in childbirth. What? All right. So we see, fellas, ladies, this is the type of, we didn't get to that part yet, Uncompetitive. We're going to talk about abortion. So you'll have plenty of things to say about it. I know women's body, women's choice. You don't have a relationship. Okay. All right. We're going to keep going.
Choose life. Like, we do have the choice. The problem is the choices that we're making. So yeah, that commercial just turned me.
Virgil, this is, to me, all part of the slippery slope that, they have redefined marriage. Now, 2 men, 2 women can get married.
Yeah.
And so now we have a commercial saying, hey, guys, you're not actually one. Go ahead and lie to him. You have freedom here. There's no God in this voting booth. It's just you and the ballot. Your thoughts?
Yeah.
But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's the ballot is God, right? You're one-on-one with the one who made you, right? And so you're bowing down to God, which is government.
You lost me. All right, we're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep going. Because I just got a lot to discuss. And not that I was trying to stop him from. I should have let him go. But we're moving on. We're moving on. We're moving on. We're moving on. Sorry, Virgil. We're gonna move on. All right. So let me keep playing, Virgil. Yeah, y'all got me feeling
the government
bad.
is telling you how you should cast your vote. One of the things that I did, Jason, when I watched this clip that we got sent of this commercial, I wanted to identify where it was coming.
All right, here we go. All right, so the next video we got to go to. I think we have it. We should already have it pulled up. We're going to talk about Joe Rogan and Kamala Harris. Joe Rogan and Kamala Harris. Give me a second. Let me pull it up. Should already have it queued up. Damn, uncompetitive? Like, yeah. That just like, come on, man. Y'all just keep pandering to these women, giving them everything. It's like giving a kid everything. It's like you're spoiling them. You're setting them up for failure. Like it's not reality. It's not reality.
Rogan experience.
You guys are coming here. I'm like, I love these guys so much. Too bad. It's just there's nothing going on.
Let me slow it down. Sometimes I listen to it in fast speed.
Well, I heard you might have needed to cancel on us to get Kamala Harris on.
I was not going to do that. I would have had to. I knew you guys flew from England, and I wasn't going to cancel on you because she had an opportunity to come in. You could look at this and you say, "Oh, you're being a diva," but she had an opportunity to come here when she was in Texas, and I literally gave them an open invitation. I said, "Anytime." I said, "If she's done at 10 o'clock, we'll come back here at 10 o'clock." I go, I'll do it at 9 in the morning. I'll do it at 10 p.m. I'll do it at midnight. If she's up. She wants to, drink a Red Bull, fucking party on.
Yeah, but I think this idea that you're being a diva is silly because you're offering her the opportunity to do exactly what the other candidate did, right?
Well, she actually reached out when she found out that he was coming on. So their camp reached out to me. So I said, great, I would love to talk to her. But it was very difficult to tie it down, and they wanted to travel. And see, the thing is, like, you can't, if I go somewhere, then there's going to be other people in the room. And they want to control a lot of things, I'm sure, according to the Brett Breyer interview on Fox. Like, people were waving him off. That's a distraction. People in the room, like, my whole goal with her and with him is just talk. Just have a conversation like a human being. You find out things about people. You get a sense of them, at least, a real sense. That was it. I don't give a fuck what we talk about. I really don't. I just want to talk to you. Who the fuck are you?
Do you think they think that you're...
What do y'all think about this? How do you think Kamala Harris would do with a Joe Rogan style interview? And for the people that aren't aware of it, Donald Trump did a 3-hour interview, I think, with Joe Rogan, where they talked about a lot of different things. It wasn't scripted. They just went. And the fact that, and even with the side note, Donald Trump, apparently he was late to his rally after doing a 3-hour interview with Joe Rogan. If that's true, Donald Trump, a lot of people saying stuff about his health. I know a lot of young people that do not have, like, mentally would be just so drained having a 3-hour conversation that the entire world is going to see. I think they have almost 40 million people that have seen that interview. And that's just on YouTube. I think it's like 37 the last time that I saw it. Think about that. And then he goes and does a rally. So side note, but how do y'all feel about Kamala Harris not doing it or wanting Joe Rogan to go to where she is, only do an hour? Of course, their team is going to be controlling a lot of it. Do you think that Joe Rogan should have still taken the interview, or that he did the right thing and saying, like, no, once you remove me from this setting and it's only an hour, then it's no longer the Joe Rogan podcast? And to be totally honest, Kamala Harris probably needs Joe Rogan more than Joe Rogan needs Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris just did an interview with Shannon Sharp, and it's been out for, I think, like 2 days now. I think it did like 1.1 million, 1.2 million. Donald Trump and Joe Rogan had like 26 million. in the first day, the first 24 hours. So now, of course, Joe Rogan is a bigger platform than Shannon Sharp, but maybe that just goes to prove the point even more that Joe Rogan doesn't need Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris needs Joe Rogan. But it seems that her campaign is just, they're just not very confident in her having these type of conversations that are not super scripted, super controlled, and very long. And even something with the Shannon Sharp interview, something that I noticed with the Shannon Sharp interview, and I have to go back and double check it. She did an interview with Shannon Sharp, and in the interview, they were talking about, yeah, there's 12 days left. There's 12 days left. But I believe the interview came out, was it yesterday or Monday? I think Monday. So it's really 7 days away or 8 days away, however you're saying it, where they have 7 days left until election day. So yeah, it would be 7 days, maybe 8, however you want to do the math. That means that his team took what? 4 days? If I'm being generous, 4 days, 3 days to edit and then put it out there. So it just makes you wonder how edited her interviews are. And then when you have an interview style like Joe Rogan, it's not going to be edited. It's not going to be cut up. It's just a long form conversation that a lot of people don't want to have because a lot of things may come up about them or come out about them that they don't necessarily think is good for getting voters. So let's keep going with this.
You're on his side and they're more wary of you?
I don't know. I mean, there's just because of my appearance, there's always been this assumption that I'm some right-wing MAGA guy, which is, I was a Bernie supporter. You know, I am not, I'm a politically homeless person for sure. You know, I always considered myself a left-wing person. I never thought I would ever vote right-wing. But then the tides of culture shifted in a very bizarre way. And it just made me, over time, much more aware of what this stuff is really all about. Because what this stuff is really all about is just these natural human behavior patterns and these tribal instincts that we have. And it overpowers all discussions. It overpowers what's good for the collective group. It overpowers everything. It's just people pick a fucking team, and then whatever that team says, they can do no harm. They will do their best to marginalize the horrible effects of the furthest extreme version of that, whether it's Antifa or the Proud Boys. They'll minimalize the... It's the same thing, man. It's the same thing. If you look at what's going on with the liberals right now, so progressives they want the war in Ukraine to be funded. They want to censor speech online. And they want to give the World Health Organization, which is deeply influenced by Big Pharma, including the FDA, deeply influenced. The revolving door between the FDA and pharmaceutical drug companies is legendary. And they want to give them control over what we take and what we don't take. And that's crazy. And that doesn't make sense because that's not what the liberals were when I was a kid. My parents were hippies. You know, we lived in San Francisco during the Vietnam War. My parents were like straight up hippies. That's how I was raised. And so for me, it was always like the liberals were the ones who wanted education and open-mindedness. The liberals who were the ones with the ACLU let the Nazis talk and let them have a rally. They said you can't infringe on people's free speech because if you infringe on the speech of people that you disagree with, you're being a fucking hypocrite. You got to. The only solution to bad speech is better speech.
The only solution to bad speech is better speech. So he said a lot there. He said a lot there, and I want to catch up on some of these comments. Another brother escaping the plantation. Have a good one. I'm running away. So VT wrote, she is highly intelligent and can handle herself. VT, what are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? Her team is running from these type of interviews. There's no way that you can look. And this is what, VT, you got to, please explain to me. Help me understand why you think that she can handle herself on a 3-hour podcast with Joe Rogan, but she didn't do it. Have you seen all of her interviews from the first one with, who was it, Dana Bash? To even, I mean, whenever she gets pushed back, even in a friendly interview with Anderson, she could not handle answering questions. And you think, and that I'm sure was scripted. And now you think she's going to be able to handle an open forum conversation with none of her people in the room, just her and Joe Rogan for 3 hours. I'm just wondering, like, how are we so different in our perception of Kamala Harris and what she can handle? And I'm not even talking about the intelligence standpoint. When it comes to being sharp and being able to respond and to questions and being able to kind of talk on the fly, I do not think that she has it. But I'm just wondering what you're seeing that makes you think that she does. Stop the Steal is worth watching. All right, Skeeg wrote, Witches versus the Warlocks. The Antichrist is coming if we don't pick the right side. Ooh. Who's the right side? Rogan is so smart, VT said. Uncle Brother, shout out to Uncle Brother. Yo, good evening. Joe Rogan played it right. Kamala's been going to all these other friendly platforms. Why couldn't she go to him? Yeah, you want to go talk to Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes, but you won't go talk to Joe Rogan. They wanted to control him and the room for when she tanked. We all know that. When I say right, I mean the best side. I get what you're saying. Skeegy. Skeegums. Yes, I do, in my opinion. And we all of us can have different perspectives. It's totally fine. It's totally fine for us to, have different perspectives. What I'm asking you is just, where has she demonstrated for you to have so much more confidence in her than her own team seems to have in her? Because if her own team was confident, you just said that it would be a good idea for her to go on Joe Rogan. She was in Texas. So if you are so confident in her, I'm just wondering, why does it seem as if she and her team aren't as confident in her? That's what I'm asking. Well, we disagree. All right. Darth Malice said, I don't care if she's a woman or purple. She's just not qualified. That's the issue. She can't do it. Putin would walk all over her. I can't say that I disagree. All right, let's keep going for a little. We only got like a minute left of this, and then we're going to transition into what will become the main video for today. Initially, it was going to be something else, but we're going to talk about that Black Men's Summit hosted by DL Hughley right after we finish this one.
I've always known that. But when they had the power over social media and these collective groups of people that all had the same ideology, and then that tribal mentality kicks in, and you lose the perspective that you should have as an educated person that recognizes that everyone has to be able to talk, and we have to figure out who's right. And you might be wrong. And you might be clinging to this idea that you're right, and you're going to do the whole thing a terrible disservice.
I'm not buying it. I am not buying it. I'm just not seeing what everybody else is seeing. Well, let me say this. I'm just not seeing what VT is seeing. That's what I'm not seeing. I just don't see it. But like we both agreed that, everybody has their different perspectives. So let's get into the main video for today. So this was a tough one for me to watch. I'm going to be honest. This was a tough video for me to watch. It was very uncomfortable. BT decided to have a Black Men's Summit and had DL Hughley host it. So a Black Men's Summit. Apparently, only super duper Democrats and super liberals were invited, which is very strange to me. And this is why, this is the reason why Democrats feel that they don't have to do anything for us in order to win our vote. Because they only show the DL Hughleys, the people that don't care what Kamala Harris does, don't care what Joe Biden does. They're just going to vote Democrat. But when you don't have a Byron Donalds, when you don't have maybe like a Jason Whitlock, where you don't have plenty of other people that are Republican or that are more conservative, when you don't give them a voice, what it does is it shows the Democrats that, hey, all the black men, they are already on board with us. Why not have a conversation where you have some conservative voices as well, or just people that just don't agree with everything that y'all are saying? So we're going to get into this. Maybe we'll look at the first couple minutes here, but then I have timestamps throughout of certain things that I'd like to get y'all feedback on, and then have a conversation with y'all about. So let's take a look.
Men, every time a presidential election rolls around, they're telling you that this is the most consequential election in generations. This time for us, it may actually be true. When was the last time America asked black men what we wanted? And I know what it's like to not be asked what you want. I'm married to a black woman.
Look at Scrappy in the back. And VT, notice how you didn't answer my question. I asked what makes her qualified, to you. But all right, it's all good. It's all good. But you got JD putting his hand over his heart. Like, what? Oh, my God.
But I promise you, it's not a trick question. Tonight, we're going to explore the issues that matter to us. Now, whether you support Kamala, ride with Trump, or plan to stay home, let's have a real conversation among...
Whether you support Kamala, Trump, or plan to stay home, let's have a real conversation. Why would you say that, but then not have anybody there that falls in the category of anything outside of we better vote Kamala? It's just not genuine. It's just not genuine.
Us, black men, about what's really at stake in this election. This is the BET Black Men Summit. Let's get to it.
Oh my God. Yo. Ladies, black lady, to my black ladies, I apologize. I really do apologize. I really do apologize. I apologize because this is a joke. This is a joke. They're staging putting the Black Power sign up. Like, this is so corny. It's like, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? And look at VT asking me questions. She want to answering questions with questions. That's what Kevin Samuels used to say that they do.
In Summit, let's get to it.
Black men, as you know, are a closely watched voting bloc.
I'm speaking to men directly.
Be on a major party ticket as a DEI hire.
I didn't know she was black.
But polling shows that some black men are considering voting for Donald Trump.
All right, let me
Black
sit
men
up.
are
Let
like
me
any
sit up.
other
We're finna
voting
get into
group.
it. All right, skip the intro. Skip the intro. Let's get to the meat of this. All right, so this clip that I'm getting ready to show y'all. So this brother is, I believe his name is Dr. Wes Bellamy. I believe he was the vice mayor of Charlottesville. Maybe he still is, but I know he was the vice mayor when the situation in Charlottesville happened. You know, the fine people on both sides, good people on both sides, whatever. Let's just get into it.
The council at the time, the youngest person elected, and after a group of white supremacists literally came into our community and unalived someone, rest in peace to Heather Heyer, the first press conference that 45 had, he stated that, again, literally there are good people on both sides. Furthermore, this is the same individual, if we're talking about who...
This is so embarrassing. This is terrible journalism. I mean, if you consider D.L. Hughley a journalist, the fact that nobody checked him on what he just said, this was debunked. I want to play it to y'all again. There's a lot of people, and the reason why this bothers me is because I was one of those people for 7 years, at least 6 years. I thought Trump's racist. He called neo-Nazis and white supremacists. He said that he included them in that fine people on both sides. For the longest, that's what I thought. And we've covered this before on our show. We've covered this before where that's not, they cut it off before he clearly stated in a couple sentences later, where he said very clearly, I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and white supremacists. So what we're going to do is we're going to listen to what he just said again, and then we're going to pull up the receipts from Trump speaking on the Charlottesville situation.
Should be, who should we both 45 had, he stated that, again, literally there are good people on both sides. Furthermore,
good people on both sides. That's what he stated. So hold on, give me a second, because I wasn't really sure if I was going to pull this up. We're pulling both up. So I had two videos saved. Hopefully I get the right one. Let me actually go to the notes. This is terrible because the media, they pushed this lie. It was terrible journalism. If Trump could, I almost think like, yo, could you sue for something like this? Like for misrepresenting my words, misrepresenting me as having me appear as somebody that was complimentary to white supremacists. So let's hold on. I'm gonna make sure that we get that. We're gonna look at, so I want us to look at two different videos. The first one is the Washington Post. Hold on. We're gonna get into this. I want y'all to look at, let's go to 1 minute and 30 seconds. I want y'all to hear this, because for a lot of people, even though we covered it on the show before, I've spoken to a few people and they're like, well, you showed it? Like I didn't see it, or so you're gonna see it right now. So what's so funny about the situation is there's actually two different times where he called it out. So I didn't know this. Apparently, this is the one from, I believe, August 14th. Let me get the exact date. Let me make this smaller. All right. So this is August 14th. The video that everybody talks about is actually this video right here that you guys see. I don't know if you can see me pointing to it on the screen, but this video right here is actually, that's the one where he said good people or fine people on both sides. That's actually from the day after. So I want to play both for you guys to get a listen. And you tell me if his words were misrepresented, or if you believe, or if you heard it exactly how he's saying it here. You all tell me.
Jeff Sessions. The Department of Justice has opened a civil rights investigation into the deadly car attack that killed one innocent American and wounded 20 others. To anyone who acted criminally in this weekend's racist violence, you will be held fully accountable. Justice will be delivered. As I said on Saturday, we condemn in the strongest possible terms this egregious display of hatred, bigotry, and violence. It has no place in America. And as I have said many times before, no matter the color of our skin, we all live under the same laws. We all salute the same great flag, and we are all made by the same Almighty God. We must love each other, show affection for each other, and unite together in condemnation of hatred, bigotry, and violence. We must rediscover the bonds of love and loyalty that bring us together as Americans. Racism is evil, and those who cause violence in its name are criminals and thugs, including the KKK,
Who peeped the criminals and thugs? Who remembers that Barack Obama speech when he was talking about, I think it was protesters, I believe it was Baltimore. Was it Freddie Gray? When he called the people protesting criminals and thugs, right? Trump's calling the racist folk criminals and thugs. Did anybody see this? I didn't see this at the time.
in its name are criminals and thugs, including the KKK, neo-Nazis, white supremacists, and other hate groups that are repugnant to everything we hold dear as Americans. We are a nation founded on the truth that all of us are created equal. We are equal in the eyes of our Creator. We are equal under the law, and we are equal under our Constitution. Those who spread violence in the name of bigotry strike at the very core of America. 2 days ago, a young American woman, Heather Heyer, was tragically killed. Her death fills us with grief, and we send her family our thoughts, our prayers, and our love. We also mourn the 2 Virginia state troopers who died in service to their community, their Commonwealth, and their country. Troopers Jay Cullen and Burke Bates exemplify the very best of America, and our hearts go out to their families, their friends, and every member of American law enforcement.
All right, so I want to leave that there. Uncompetitive, you gotta listen, bro. I said that there's 2 different clips. So I said that this was the one from August 14th. The one from August 15th is the one where he says very fine people on both sides. But I wanted to play this first because it occurred a day before those comments even came out. So he had already condemned white supremacists, Nazis, bigotry. He had already condemned them a day before, and they still put out the quote saying that he said that there's fine people on both sides, as if he's talking about the white supremacists when he said it the day before. And according to this, and we're going to get into the next clip that you're talking about. So let's get into that clip. Hold on. Hold on 1 second. Let me take this off real quick. All right. All right, so this is the one. Timestamp is, because it's 17 minutes long. We're definitely not listening to all that. So let's go to 12 minutes. 12 minutes. So this is the one where it's more like a press conference. He's going back and forth, answering questions, arguing with the press. Yeah. All right, let's so like I said, this one right here. This is from, what does it say? What's the date? August 15th, responding to questions. So this is the video that everybody has seen, but only a clip of it.
You had some very bad people in that group, but you also had people that were very fine people on both sides. You had people in that group, excuse me, I saw the same pictures as you did. You had people in that group that were there to protest the taking down of, to them, a very, very important statue and the renaming of a park from Robert E. Lee to another name. No, George Washington was a slave owner. Was George Washington a slave owner? So will George Washington now lose his status? Are we going to take down, excuse me, are we going to take down statues to George Washington? How about Thomas Jefferson? What do you think of Thomas Jefferson? You like him? Okay, good. Are we going to take down the statue? Because he was a major slave owner. Now, are we going to take down his statue? So you know what? It's fine. You're changing history. You're changing culture. And you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. But you had many people.
We all should be mad at the media. We all should be mad at the media. We were told a lie, and this vice mayor, think about it. Let's go back to why we're playing this video. Because they're having a Black Men's Summit. The vice mayor of Charlottesville, he has to know, unless he's just totally ignorant and naive, he has to know Trump's full statement as the vice mayor of Charlottesville. And 8 years later or 7 years later, he's still saying the same thing, trying to manipulate us into thinking that Trump, if so bad, this is what I don't understand. If Trump is Hitler, if Trump is a Nazi, if Trump's a fascist, if he's that bad, why do you have to play games with the things that he's saying? Why do you have to try to mislead us? Why do you have to try to, I wouldn't call it misquoting, but misrepresenting his message? Why do you have to do that? I don't understand. The majority of us have never seen the end of that clip. It's embarrassing that they are still continuing to push this message. It's embarrassing. Look, you can like whoever you want. You could dislike whoever you want. But there has to be some respect for the truth. So just because I don't like somebody, this is like high school stuff. I don't like you, so I spread some bad info about you, some gossip. We can't do stuff like that. And it's like we're relying on people. Thank God that we have other news sources now with YouTube and other platforms, TikTok, wherever people are getting their news. But we rely on the news to give us this type of information. And this is around the time that, I don't know if y'all noticed, this is around the time where I really think that a lot of the news stations started to shift. They probably always are Fox is probably the only conservative leaning one, but a lot of the others probably still leaned, liberal. But this was the beginning of, we're not leaning liberal. We are liberal. So we're giving you news from a biased liberal standpoint. This is ridiculous. It's terrible journalism. Terrible journalism. I think we can. I think we got enough of that. I don't think
in that group other than neo-Nazis and white nationalists. Okay. So
it's. I don't know. Let's get back to the other video. Let's keep listening to what Brother Bellamy says. And I'm going to go back and I want y'all to hear what he said.
the first press conference that 45 had, he stated that, again, literally there are good people on both sides. Furthermore,
got brothers jumping on BT on a huge platform, and everybody in this audience probably just accepts what that brother just said because they got the mic on stage. I don't know. I don't know what to do. All right, we're going to move on to gun violence. So they discussed gun violence, 16 minutes and 35 seconds. Let's take a listen to this.
With us in the audience is activist Greg Jackson, a gun violence survivor. On this issue, Greg, I know it's very personal, but does it matter who's president, gun violence issue? Does that matter?
Yeah, DL, it definitely matters. And I've had the honor of serving in the White House, but I'm here in my personal capacity because it's personal for me. In April 2013, I was shot after a club let out, and the bullet that hit me hit 2 arteries. And I'll never forget getting to the hospital. And before I met my doctors or my surgeons, I met investigators and went through 3 rounds of investigation where I was literally bleeding to death and fighting for my innocence and for my life at the same time, just to find out that I had a 26-minute window left to live due to blood loss and a 50% chance of making it out of surgery. And I'll never forget that feeling of being seen as a suspect first and a person second. And unfortunately, that's...
Do you hear the noises that these men are making in the background? Like, this is why I don't go to church. This is one of the reasons why I don't go to church. It's all just, it's so fake and phony. Like, I can't get with it. Not saying that all churches are like that, but this is why, for me, this is what prevents me from waking up on a Sunday and saying, "Yeah, let's go to church." This is one of the reasons. Like, yo, what are y'all moaning for? Celebrating what he's like?
That's what we're seeing in our country, all over our country every single day. Raise your hand if you know someone who's been shot or killed by gun violence. I mean, look.
Now, out of all those people with their hands raised, how many do y'all think if those people were killed by white people or white cops, or were they killed by other black people? Oh, you can't assume that. You can't say that, right? And probably a city that's run by Democrats. In a city where the kids in second grade, from second grade on, probably the majority of them can't read at the proper reading level. Can't do math at the proper, can't do English, whether it's Chicago, whether it's Baltimore, whether it's Philly, all these, whether it's the Bronx. Like, what are y'all talking? The things that y'all are addressing, you need to be addressing with the Democrats. You need to be addressing with the fact that they're incentivizing black men to not be in these households to where the kids don't grow up with a father figure to teach them discipline and responsibility, and don't feel that they got to jump out the window to go do something, to prove something to some big homie that they feel like they want to be a part of because they got a family, because they're lacking it at home.
Look at this. Every single person in this room. This is the #1 cause of death of black youth since 2006. And since I was shot, nearly 1 million Americans have been taken by this crisis. For me, that's one of my childhood friends. That was nearly me. 2 of my mentees, one of which who came to Capitol Hill.
Now, let me ask y'all this. If he was shot by a white person, or if his mentee was shot by a white person, you know damn well they would be saying he was a white cop. He was they would be giving all the whole spiel, right? Brother, yes, we know that we know that gun violence is a problem in the black community. Who do we think is committing the violence?
To fight for the policies to address gun violence. That's who we're losing in this crisis. And here we are coming out of coming into an era where we have a vice president who has been working on this issue, has been leading the Office of Gun Violence Prevention, who passed the first law in 30 years, who has been focused on this issue almost her entire life.
What law? What law? Say the law. Because when she was getting interviewed by the National Association of Black Journalists, she was talking about assault rifles and having an assault rifle ban. We know that the guns are handguns that kill people in the hood, that got all the little homies getting shot and shooting at it. This is, this is embarrassing. This is embarrassing. This is embarrassing. I feel bad for black women seeing this. This is embarrassing. And what's funny is, even though I feel bad for black women seeing this, black women probably are going to see this and be celebrating these brothers, thinking that they're doing something amazing. Because we tend to go with what feels good, what sounds good, what caresses us, rather than the things that we actually need. This is embarrassing.
Life. And literally has ushered in the steepest decrease in homicides in American history for now 2 years in a row. Yeah. But during the Trump administration, we saw the steepest spike in murders in American history. And that's not numbers. Those are our friends. Those are our family members. Those are our cousins, our nephews. And guess what he does? Brags about doing nothing. He says, well, we got to get over it. Get over it? I'm not getting over my mentee.
First and foremost, shame on me. I have the stats actually with ChatGPT. A lot of them, and there's been a lot of things that were happening with gun violence. So as far as with crime being reported. So in 2020, they changed the way that crime is reported. So it used to be where they used to get, I think it was it paper or it was different? I think they went from paper to computerized or vice versa. But it used to be, I think 90% of the police precincts throughout the country reported their data. Now with the new system in place, it dropped significantly down to like 60 or 50 to 60%. And New York being one in particular, I think I remember off the top of my head, they actually didn't report theirs. So a lot of this information, a lot of these stats that they're putting out, it's because they changed how the crime is reported. They also changed the classifications of crime. So they changed like violent, they took what used to be like violent crimes, they moved it into another area. So that's why you'll hear a lot of Democrats pushing this talking point, violent crimes down, violent crimes down. Even they did it in the debate. But then I think it was debunked after that, or they put out some new information after that. But this, it's, you know what it comes down to? Success, people that get stuff done, they look internally. People that get stuff done, teams that win, they look internally. When there's a problem, they don't look externally and look to blame or make excuses. Oh, this is why that happened. For factors, people that are successful control the things that they can control, and they focus most of their time, effort, and energy on those things rather than playing the blame game elsewhere. You're sitting in a room full of black men. Sitting in a room full of black men talking about black violence. Every black man in that room knows damn well who's committing the majority of that violence. And it's in mostly Democrat-ran cities. And there's a lot of factors that go into that. Those black men are well aware of it. Whether it's the father not being in the household, whether a kid can't read, right? We've always heard stories about they base the amount of prisons that they're going to build based on fourth grade reading levels. I don't know if that's true or not, but it would make sense because the numbers show that kids that can't read are more likely to commit crime and end up either dead or locked up.
In a casket, watching his mother cry, watching his football coach wonder what he gonna do, watching his teacher say, man, he was so full of promise. 13 years old. I'm not getting over that. We can't get over that.
Donald Trump told y'all to get over that? Like, what are we talking about? Oh man. All right, let's move on. We're going to talk about, this is going to get good. So we're going to talk about sexism. I believe that they're going to incorporate Barack Obama and the things that he said to black men in this conversation. So let's take a listen to this.
Okay, we are here now with Tennessee State Representative Justin J. Pearson, Ben Crump, and Michael Ealy. So they're joining us on the panel.
I guess the representative, okay, he should be here. Michael Ealy. Who cares what you're like? Who cares? Like, who cares? Does he have a history of speaking on politics? Does he have a history of speaking on these type of issues? I don't know. Ben Crump, stop it. Come on. Yeah. Ben Crump, he's the new like Al Sharpton. He's in that category. He went to that school. And then we got a comedian. Malcolm X warned us about this.
As a nation, we've never had a female leader. Never. Right. So there is an unspoken idea that a lot of people have, whether they say it out loud or not. So what was your impression?
Look, I love President Obama. And I think we got to be honest in our own community about the reality of sexism and the role that patriarchy plays in our own community. Sure. I go to churches a lot, and there are people who will greet me and not greet my fiance, who's standing right next to me. So there's a real conversation we need to have about what is going on inside of our communities and what we can do to make sure that we unlearn some of the behaviors that are really negative, right, and that are really harmful. What is also really important is that we do understand the facts. An overwhelming majority of black men are voting for Vice President Kamala Harris to be President of the United States. Right? 80% of us. So, you know, the truth is, you got that one uncle that you need to talk to. Right. Yeah. But the majority of us, we good. Right. Like, we on the...
This corny-ass fake Barack Obama impersonator. Bro, this is... We know who he was in high school. I always say you can learn a lot about people's experience based on how they were in high school. Bro doesn't even seem like, this seems like the Democrats just said, okay, you know how you used to create a player in like Madden or something like that? It's like, he seems like a created being, how he's speaking is using the same cadence as Barack. Like, this is a joke. This is a joke. Listen to what
uncle that you need to talk to. Right. Yeah. But the majority of us, we good.
Right.
So now, if you don't want to vote for Kamala, you're not good. Now, how did they start off this conversation? Saying that whether you're voting for Kamala, whether you're voting for Trump, whether you're independent, we just want to have a conversation. But everything about this is just totally pro-Kamala. And what they don't even realize, this is why people get turned off. This is why people get turned off. You get these people that are totally disconnected with reality, totally seem to be disconnected with the communities. And they talk about, they don't realize that we are intelligent people. So intelligent people want to hear both sides. We just don't want to hear you saying just we're going to have an objective conversation, but everybody is just super pro Kamala. How can we respect the conversation where there's no pushback? And in the beginning of this video, I should have played it, but I stopped the intro. D.L. Hughley starts off by talking about the way that, like, researching. He said that if you guys go back and listen to this, you'll hear him. He said that research is challenging your current beliefs. Is there anybody in this room that is challenging anything that these gentlemen have said that is not pro Kamala? Has anybody challenged these pro Kamala views? Sorry if I said that wrong. Let's keep going.
Right, like we on the same page. But there is some work that we are going to have to do as a community to figure out what are the qualms, what are the issues, what are the problems that 20% or so of black folks who a few years ago were voting Democratic and all that are having. And I will say this about Donald. In our country, our socialization has taught us to praise people with a lot of money.
And I gotta bring something up. So Uncompetitive wrote, future presidential candidate. There, you'll see. I wouldn't disagree with you, Uncompetitive. You want to know why? And you said that you're a white man, and I want to be very clear. This is the type of brother that white people love. This is the type of brother that white people love. They see this type of guy, he's not a threat, easygoing, gonna push all the Democratic talking points. This is what white people love. But Uncompetitive, what you're not realizing, and maybe what the Kamala Harris and her campaign is realizing, is that black people don't see it that way. We know that he makes white people feel safe. This type of person makes white people feel very safe and comfortable. Me, I don't. I don't make a lot of people feel comfortable when I'm saying the things that I'm saying, pushing back on certain things. When you can't control me with the same Democratic talking points that you controlled our families for generations upon generations, this is what makes you feel comfortable. Let's keep going.
Yeah. Our socialization has taught us to praise people who are famous. Right. Our socialization has taught us to praise people who can get a lot of women and can say what they want and do what they want and have said, hey, that image that's the image of a real man. That's the image of a strong person. That's the image of a real leader who can just fire people at will.
And let me be very clear. When I said I don't make white people feel comfortable, I don't make white Democrats, white liberals with the white liberal savior complex comfortable. That's who I make very uncomfortable.
Now he running for president. And a lot of people are like, wait, no, that's not it anymore.
Right.
But years of socialization have taught us that actually that is the image that America has put forward as
Yo. Oh my God.
the image of what you want to be, of the person that you want to lead. So it isn't just a black issue. We got a nationwide issue about the perception of hypermasculinity masquerading as leadership, when in fact it was our mamas and our grandmamas and our great-grandmamas who got us here.
And all the black people that disagreed with me, especially the men, I bet you changed your tune when he said that last statement. I know I got somebody in my head who I'm thinking about. Matter of fact, I know my dad. If my dad's listening, I don't know how he thought about what I was addressing for the first part of the conversation. But do you hear what this man just said? He just gave all credit to women for the reason why we're here. How disrespectful is that to men? Listen to what he just said. This is what I'm talking about. These are the simp men that say what they think women want to hear, that will do anything and everything to get the attention that they never got in high school. This is a problem. Listen to what he just said.
It was our mom about the perception of hypermasculinity masquerading as leadership.
Please listen to this, please, because they start clapping all early and stuff. Please listen.
In fact, it was our mamas and our grandmamas and our great-grandmamas who got us here.
No disrespect to my mamas, my grandmamas, and my great-grandmamas, but no, it was not just you that got us here. This is the this is the mindset of somebody that has never had a strong black father in their household. Because and what's so shameful about all this, as much as your mama can do for you, when it comes to black men, your father is the most influential. And y'all know how I feel about my mom. But it is what it is. When it comes to it, but what do women want to be the most influential to their daughters and their sons? Like ease up. Like the fact that you have a black man standing on it, saying it so confidently, you got all these other black men in the room, it shows the problem in the black community. He just said that it's our mamas, our grandmamas, our great-grandmas that got us to this point. What are you talking about? Whose family is he talking about? That's not my story. Is that y'all's story? That the men did absolutely nothing? The women just got us to this point? We could just thank women for it, forget what the guys did? This is the problem. And this is why I get mad, and I always talk to my dad and his friends, and I'm talking to them about their generation. They created this. Your generation created this. And I'm not saying my dad, because obviously my dad was in my household. I don't suffer from this emasculated man syndrome. I don't suffer from that, where you just give all credit to women and no credit to your father. How disrespectful. I mean, you know what's so funny? And my dad, I'm sure he remembers this. When I was trying out for the league, and it was like sometime around the spring, I had a good pro day. And it was looking like I would likely sign with a team. They put out a newspaper article. Do you know that they put out a newspaper article making it seem as if I was coming from a single parent household with just my mother? Like, I didn't even understand the reporter that was interviewing me. Like, I didn't even realize they were asking me questions. I know I answered questions about my mom and my dad. Do you know when they released the article, it made it seem like my dad had no influence in this whatsoever? This is what this pandering to women, happy wife, happy life, all this other stuff where black men, hey, my goal is to just serve black women. This is what this has created. You don't understand it. It's like a situation that you don't really understand the impact of it until you see how it impacts the next generations. This is bro, why would you say that? And why would all these men clap? I'm sure a lot of these men are fathers. Could you imagine? I could never imagine me sitting here saying that it was my mom, my grandma, and my grandma that got me here.
Well, I tell you,
That part.
I'm telling you, and the fro baby. And the fro baby. Listen.
Corny ass nigga.
You know what's always interesting? We hear about the polls, and one of the things I know for sure, the quickest way to make a black man lie to you is walk up to him and ask him a question with a clipboard in your hand. So, I mean,
yo, this is what happens when BET puts together a Black Men's Summit and you get celebrities and you get all this other. This is what happens. This is what happens. Oh my God. Like, this is just so disrespectful. And I know that there's so many men that have no problem with hearing something like that. It's sickening. It's so disrespectful. It's so disrespectful to the men. Let me hold on. Let me move on to, all right, we're going to move on to them. Listen to them. Of course, they can't have a conversation without mentioning Project 2025. Let's talk about it.
What was your reaction when you heard President Obama say that?
Well, there are some men who don't want to vote for a woman. Sure. The founders of Project 2025 really don't want a woman as president. Right. And their women don't want a woman as president. Sure. That is not being held to the same standard. If, in fact, you are one of those individuals who believe that a woman should not be president, speak on it. So, like, if you're masking your sexism with, she locked up a whole bunch of black men. Well, that's already been debunked. So what is it? Or she's not black. Yeah. So what is it? What is it that's really...
Why did he start off this conversation talking about Project 2025? This is what's so funny to me. These people, these Democrats, when Trump says something that aligns with their perception of him or how they're selling him as and branding him as, they say, Trump said it. He's got to believe. You got to believe it. Trump said it. Believe what he said. He's being serious, right? But when Trump says, I have nothing to do with Project 2025, I haven't read it. Apparently, there's some good things in it. Apparently, there's some bad things in it. I don't know about it. We have our own plan. Now it's, oh, no. Trump, yeah. Trump's plan is Project 2025. Why are we allowing them? It goes back to the question that I asked when we were talking about West Bellamy. If Trump is that bad, if Trump is really Hitler, if Trump is really a Nazi, if Trump's a fascist, why do you all have to make up things about him? And why do you think that we're going to believe it? It's an insult to our intelligence, if you ask me. It's an insult to our intelligence. I'm not going to stay here too long. I want to move on to, that's the Project 2025 was the only thing that I wanted to highlight with that one. So I want to speak to, let's bring JD to the stage. So I'm not sure if y'all are familiar with JD, Jermaine Dupri, artist, whatever else, who knows? Very successful. I don't know. What is JD? He's an artist, but he's also a producer. I don't know. But he's been extremely successful in the music industry, and I don't want to downplay that. He's been extremely successful. Listen to his perspective on this. They're discussing the economy.
So we can't have a conversation about just inflation without the commensurate wage growth. Now, Jermaine Dupri, you've heard this a lot, that things were better under Trump. I've heard it a lot. How widespread do you believe that is?
I don't believe that.
No, I'm saying, but it is a pervasive. It is a pervasive attitude.
Yeah. No, I mean, I represent. Oh, I don't represent, but I'm here to speak to the YDS generation.
Sure.
That's the young, dumb, and stupid kids that's out there, right? And they have this.
Well, they are. That's crazy.
They are young, dumb, stupid kids. And I also want to remind y'all. So when the brother Justin Pearson was also talking, one thing that I forgot to mention. He said something about, what did he say? The socialization that it has taught us different things about black culture. He was talking about the reasons why we're attracted to Trump, because it's like, oh, you get all the girls, all this other stuff. DL Hughley, you're sitting up here talking to Jermaine Dupri. You got other rappers in the audience who come from an industry, whether it's Vic Mensa, whether it's Lil Scrappy. You have people that come from an industry that promotes this type of culture. It's not Trump promoting black people. Let's be very clear. Black culture was not created by Trump. Black people, the culture that has been established within black people that has been super destructive to our communities. These same people, some of them participated in it. They were participating in the industry. Kenny Burns, who we're getting ready to hear from. Bro, you were the senior, you worked for Diddy. You participated in this industry. And now we're blaming Trump for like making a relation to Trump. If we are like how does it's mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling. But let me get back to this video before I go off on another tangent. He just said, I want to repeat that again. Let me go back and listen to what JD said.
Dumb and stupid speak to the YDS generation.
Sure.
That's the young, dumb, and stupid kids that's out there, right? And they have this.
Well, they are. That's crazy.
It's what it is.
So clearly he's talking about the younger men that are deciding to go elsewhere and not support the Democratic Party. I don't know how old Jermaine Dupri is. D.L. Hughley, I believe he said he was born in like 1964 or something like that. Black people have been voting Democrat for, I don't know of a family member that I have. I can think of maybe one cousin on my nan's side that was a Republican. I can think of one. He was involved in politics, but everybody else in my family has voted Democrat for year after year after year after year, election after election after election after election. And we're still, and what is that? And what prize does that won us? It's won us the prize where if we don't vote in this election, we're going to be thrown back in chains and shackles. It's won us where Democrats have been in office for 12 out of the last 16 years. And this is still an election that if we don't win, Donald Trump, we going back to slavery. What have the Democrats done? You're calling young men young, dumb, and stupid. But who were the, I'm not even going to say it, how smart of it is, let me reverse it, how smart of it is to continue voting for a party that consistently proves that they will not do anything for you, that looks you in your face and says you ain't black unless you vote for me. But the young ones are young, dumb, and stupid. Or maybe they're just looking at a lot of the older folks. I ain't throwing myself in that category. A lot of the older folks that have been just voting Democrat after Democrat after Democrat, expecting different results but doing the same thing. Insanity, right? But he's calling young folk young, dumb, and stupid. And this is the same thing that Barack Obama did when he said, well, yeah, I know you're not voting. I know you're not voting for Trump, but it's the Pookies. It's the Pookies. This is how they try to insult our intelligence. And it's a shame that an older black man is allowing that and feeding into it. Because even if you want to vote for Kamala Harris, why does it make sense? Why do you feel comfortable calling young men young, dumb, and stupid? Because if Donald Trump called those same young men that are supporting Kamala Harris young, dumb, and stupid, you would have a fit. But because they're choosing to look in a different direction, now they're young, dumb, and stupid. This is the Democratic playbook. Like, I don't understand. Why do we keep falling into this trap? Like, do people not see what's going on? Let's keep going for a second.
They have this in their mind, right, that, you know, as Newface said on the video, the stimulus checks, they're paying attention to things like that, and they're not hearing the information that needs to be heard. Right. You know, the stimulus checks, the locking people up for selling weed. Right. These are the street topics that's happening. Sure. That's all I keep hearing from. Sure.
So all you keep hearing about, and you're mad that black people are running around saying Trump gave me them stimulus checks. Should I look at y'all? Should I look at my grandparents and say, well, y'all sold out for the social programs of Lyndon B. Johnson? Because before the social programs, we had our families together. Yeah, before that, black women were more likely to get married than white women. We had a family structure. So you're criticizing or getting mad, calling young folk young, dumb, and stupid for allowing the stimulus checks to have them looking at life or looking at the perspective on Donald Trump a different way. But the whole time, that's what we did with Lyndon B. Johnson when we sold out for all of these social programs that incentivized the black women to not need a black man in the household, that destroyed our families, that have us dealing with the very same problems that all these men are complaining about 10 minutes earlier when they're talking about, well, gun violence in these black neighborhoods. As if the Ku Klux Klan is coming in and killing everybody in black neighborhoods. It's not that. Black people are the new Klan when it comes to these inner city gangs and stuff like that. Black people are killing black people. We always want to look elsewhere, look outside and place the blame everywhere else, but looking internally and focusing on the things that are well within our grasp and well within our control. And that's why nothing ever gets solved.
You know what I mean? And I feel like it's really important that we as men in this room, we give them the facts today.
But there was a specific reason that Donald Trump, even though
why is he here? We're going to move on. We're going to move on because we got a bunch of different talking points. Hold on. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. I got to open the chains on the door. The chains on the door. Hold on. My apologies. Sometimes I forget, put the chain on the door. Oh, yeah. All right. I needed to take a breath anyway. So maybe that was divine. What is it called? Divine intervention? Maybe that's what that was. All right. So we're going to move on. What did I say we're moving on to? All right. 3714. We're going to talk about economy. We're going to continue talking about the economy. 3714.
Wilson, now you're an entrepreneur also, and there is, and we've talked about this a lot, there is the belief that the economy was better under Trump, and it plays itself out on my radio show. I hear it so much. I started to believe it, and I know better. I'm like, wait a minute, you can lie.
And matter of fact, the chain on the door, it's 10:39. You shouldn't be out this late. Chain goes on the door at 9 p.m.
To me, and I'm feeling like you were telling the truth. Why is that so pervasive? And they truly believe it. It's not something that they're kind of just repeating by rote.
I mean, I think it's important to note that prices were lower during the Trump presidency, but an important point has already come out in this conversation. President Trump inherited the Obama economy, right? Like that is.
Oh my God. Yo, and this is why I should have had Byron Donalds. So this is what happens. I show y'all clips to prove certain points, just like I showed y'all the clip a while ago with Donald Trump and what we saw earlier with the fine people on both sides. I literally just need to save the same clips because I don't like playing the same clips to prove certain points. But when people bring up these things, Byron Donalds had a debate with, I forget the gentleman from Alabama. I forget his name. And he was talking about everybody saying that Trump inherited the economy from Barack Obama. The economy was growing at, I think it was like 1 to 1.5% or whatever. When Trump came in, he increased it to 3 to 3.5%. Go back and look at the numbers. If that's the case, then Trump did his job, but doing his job would have been keeping it. If Barack's economy was great, doing his job may have been just keep doing the same thing. But the fact that he increased it, how do you not give credit for that? How do you just say that Barack inherited it? So did Joe Biden inherit Trump? Like, at what point do we give credit? And I guess we could always, if we want to look at the glass half full, we'll look at it half full. If we want to look at it half empty, we'll look at it half empty.
It's just something that we have to put on the table that happened. He inherited what the previous administration had done to make sure that the economy was in a good position when he started. Now, if you fast forward, many of the businesses that I serve at the Gathering Spot, when I think about what we were talking about during the Trump presidency, those conversations were not positive, right? So I don't remember this magical time period when everyone was doing well. We were still talking about access to capital being tough to find. We were still talking.
You mean like the HBCUs having a tough time getting access to capital when they had to keep coming back to the White House every year. And Trump said, why do y'all have to keep coming back to me? Remember, he said that. He said, hey, the only bad thing is going to be, I'm going to give you guys, an extension, to where you have guaranteed funding every year. So you don't have to keep coming back and asking. The only bad thing is going to be, I won't see you guys anymore. Is that what you're referring to? Or you're referring to something different? Because people, it's like, if he didn't do anything, then say perfectly fine. He didn't do anything. But if he did certain things, but maybe not enough, then at least acknowledge the things that were done so we can have an honest, fair conversation.
About trying to figure out ways to grow and scale our businesses. None of those fundamentals changed throughout the Trump presidency. And to the idea of having a plan, I never saw President Trump produce a plan while we were going through that time period. When COVID hit and we were in the middle of just very, very tough circumstances, what I watched happen were businesses in the community close.
And a lot of those businesses closed. You noticed what Florida was doing, and a lot of these Republican-led places, it was the Democrats that were pushing to close a lot of this stuff. Let's be real. Let's be real. I remember there were gyms down by the shore. They removed their door or something, or they tried to lock up the door. They cut off the door, cut off the chains and stuff like that. I forget. Come on, we just got to be honest. We got to be honest. And it was a pandemic. It was a pandemic, but neither here nor there. Neither here nor there. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. What do we have? What do we have? What do we have? Yeah, 9 p.m. Shy. All right, hold on. What's the next talking point? Yeah, got me. All right, so we're at 38:35. All right, so let's move to 45:35. We're going to talk about migrants. We're going to look at a quick little clip from DL, and then we're going to move ahead slightly. But I want y'all to talk to me.
I know they can't be so deaf there.
It just don't happen here.
You know what's interesting? You do hear that, and whenever I hear people say that, because I know in Michigan and Wisconsin and a lot of Rust Belt states, that is something that is bantered around about. But the thing is, I always hear that taking our job. I never name the job you see an illegal immigrant doing. You go, I should be doing that right there. You know what I mean? So there's an attempt.
If Trump said that, it would be offensive, right? Oh, but he's a comedian. Oh, but it's not a comedic set. So is it? Let me be very clear. I don't know who DL Hughley thinks black people are, as if we're just above doing certain jobs. I don't know what he thinks it is. I respect a lot of these. One thing that I do respect about the migrants coming in is, and I've heard this reported in a few different places, so I feel confident in it. A lot of these migrants are like, yo, we don't want these damn checks. We want to work. They want to work. I respect when I drive past Home Depot and I see people up there bright and early because they got to go bust. They got to go make sure that they're out there first and foremost before everybody else every day, not knowing if they're going to get guaranteed work, not knowing what they're going to have to do, not knowing what skill they're going to have to use. They're just figuring it out, doing whatever they need to do to put food on the table for them and their family. I respect that. Now, when Trump said black jobs, we had a problem, right? When he said black jobs, right, we had a problem. Well, let's be clear. When we brought up the top 15 of people broken down by ethnicities of what people make in a household, black people were at the bottom, right? I think it was a lot of Asian populations at the top. Even white Americans were somewhere in the middle. But black people were at the bottom. So based on your income being at the bottom for household income, it's just the stats. Just the stats. That would mean that the jobs that black people take on make less money, right? So we had a problem with Trump saying black jobs because everybody felt like, well, what does he mean black job? Is that less than a white job? Is that well, technically, if you look at what white people make, black people make less. So they're, on average, their jobs pay them more. Just a fact. Now, you may say the same thing about a lot of the migrants coming in. But why was it an issue when Trump said it? But then D.L. Hughley has no problem saying, like, man, black people, who wants those migrant jobs? Maybe we should take on those jobs. Maybe a lot of us could benefit from learning some skills, learning how to do certain trades that a lot of those migrants have, or whoever else. They may be citizens that are going to Home Depot, wherever they are. They have certain skills, in my opinion, that can set them up to have more success than a lot of other people running around looking for whatever office job or whatever degree they're fighting for. You got people getting college degrees and then go becoming baristas at Starbucks. No disrespect to a barista, but I'm just saying, when D.L. Hughley says something about a Mexican job or a migrant job, my apologies for assuming Mexican, just the border right there. But when he says a migrant job, like it's just maybe black people need to humble ourselves. Maybe we need to humble ourselves, because I guess I should just respond how everybody else responded and say, well, what is a migrant job? What is a migrant job? Stop it. Let's keep going. So I said we only wanted to discuss that point right there. Then I wanted to move on to immigration. We're just going to fast forward just a minute. Fast forward a minute.
Is for some people worth it. We're going to talk to Mark Marriott, looking all fly. Look at you. You are the former mayor of New Orleans and the current head of the National Urban League. What is the real truth about immigration?
The truth is that for all the rhetoric, there has not been an immigration bill. And when there was an immigration bill to try to fix the immigration system, guess what happened? Donald Trump didn't wink and nod. He pulled out his bullhorn and told his friends in Congress, do not pass it. He functioned.
Stop crying. Stop crying. Stop blaming. You blaming losses on somebody that's not even in the game. Stop crying. First and foremost, they're the ones, when Kamala Harris and Biden came in, they got rid of the executive orders that Donald Trump put in place that was containing the border. They put in their policies, and then it quadrupled the amount of people coming in. And now you're crying about, well, Donald Trump called his friends and he told them not to accept. Figure it out. That's what you're the president. You don't have anybody to make excuses to. It's on you. Figure it out. You're the vice president. You said that you were involved in all the decisions that the president was making. So therefore, when we asked you, you said, when the View asked you and said, would you do anything differently? You said, nothing comes to mind. If you want the role as president, you can't play the blame game. You can't say, oh, well, we tried to get this passed, but Donald Trump called his friends. Okay, well, what if Donald Trump calls his friends if you win the election? Are you then going to come to us 4 years later when you're trying to get reelected and say, well, Donald Trump called his friends. Tell him to stop calling his friends. And you created the problem. You created the problem.
As an obstructionist, once again, playing games with all of us. So the issue is, do you run on a problem or do you run on a solution?
And real quick, I just noticed Uncle Brother's comment. I did want to bring that up. Under Biden, the price of everything spiked and took back all that PPP money I gotten from Trump. So also, they acknowledged, and I kind of skipped over it, they did acknowledge that the prices have gone up significantly under Biden. One of the dudes, he acknowledged it, but then said, well, that's only because of it was one of those things. But it's frustrating.
And immigration is a challenge in America.
And the reason why this is frustrating, I want to be very clear. This is not frustrating for me. I'll be totally honest. It's frustrating because I really feel for people. There's a lot of people that are getting misled by a lot of successful older gentlemen like the people that we're seeing in this video. And what happens is they mislead a lot of us, have us thinking a particular way to where we're embracing this victimhood rather than embracing a hero syndrome. Embrace the hero syndrome. Embrace being a hero. Okay, there's odds against me. So what? Oh, well, do you know that only one out of such how many players will make it to the NBA, or one out of every only 0.00% of this 0.0001% are going to make it in the major leagues? Kids have no problem embracing the lottery odds of making it to the NFL, the NBA, Major League Baseball, the NHL, MLS, all these other leagues. Have no problem embracing it. The WNBA. But when it comes to embracing real life obstacles and challenges, we act as if, oh my God, we can't expect to compete. The odds are against us. Stop listening to these older folks. Stop. Listen to yourself. If you believe in yourself, then that's the only from that standpoint, listen to other people that believe in you. Listen to other people that believe in themselves enough to where they focus on the things that are in their control and not complaining about other people holding them back from accomplishing things.
That needs a solution. Sure. But we have to remember as black people that a substantial part of immigrants in America are black people.
Listen to this.
Haitians, Nigerians, Jamaicans, and a substantial part of the Latino community are Afro-Latino.
Black people always want to involve and invite everybody into their struggle. It happened in the 60s, and then as soon as I just got to call it out, from my understanding, I may be off, but a lot of the Latino Hispanic population who benefited from a lot of the black people pushing civil rights, when they started pushing their stuff, they didn't necessarily bring black people along. But here this gentleman wants us to impress. Well, everybody's black. The Afro-Latinos, the Nigerians, the Jamaicans, first and foremost, all of these groups that he's naming, the majority of them that I know in real life do not necessarily see us as the same. But now you want us to see them as the same when it comes to providing them some type of comfort and providing them a place and a support system for them to have. Like this is why black people never get anything done. So many people benefit from black people's movements, just like what happened with George Floyd. I thought that Black Lives Matter was based on the majority of black men dying. I know there was Sandra Bland and a few other women, but it was the majority of young black men and some older black men. Right? Remember Trayvon Martin, Tamir Rice, Freddie Gray, Eric Garner? You remember all these people? That's where Black Lives Matter got its biggest, it's got its biggest amount of popularity. But what happened was when George Floyd died, I shouldn't say, but now, what happened? Now they're putting rainbows in the street. Now Black Queer Lives Matter, Black LGBT. It turned more into everything else except black people, especially except black men. Even the head of the groups, they're donating money. Go check out the Candace Owens documentary on Black Lives Matter. She dismantled them single-handedly. That's why we don't see them anymore running around trying to run scams on people like they were before. They're giving all their money to LGBTQ organizations. Black people always get hustled into being the pawns for fights that they think are for them. But while everybody else sits back and enjoys and reaps the benefits of the black people going out there and sacrificing themselves.
We have to understand this and not allow this old strategy. It's an old game.
Yes, get these old heads out of here.
Divide and conquer and confuse and then laugh.
Yeah.
And when I say get these old heads out of here, I shouldn't have to say get these old heads out of here. If you're a real big homie, if you're an old head that wants to lead and is really about leadership, then you will single-handedly, you will emphasize passing down the torch to somebody, not trying to keep the spotlight to yourself, but passing it down and preparing the next generation to lead, rather than trying to hold on to it as long as you can because you're scared to step out the spotlight. And listen to all the claps. Listen to all the support. All right, so we're going to move on to 4834. Let's take a look at this. Oh, man. Oh, man. Protecting black women.
So hit the streets to find out.
You were telling me about your concerns with the next generation, and I'm wondering, does reproductive rights factor into this election for you and your decision making?
Oh, definitely. I'm definitely pro-choice. I think a woman should control what happens with her body 100%.
I think the reproductive rights aspect makes the choice for who to elect very clear.
Someone coming in and say, hey, this is what you need to do with your body. Like, we have never experienced that. And I don't want them to experience that.
And we need to stay out of that. I think we also need our government to stay out of those things as well.
I don't believe in abortion. Just being honest with you, I believe we abuse the right.
Is that a big part of your decision-making this election?
For me personally, it's not high up there, right? I'm not going to say that it's not of importance. There's no disrespect to women at all, right? I come from one.
Oh, definitely affects my vote. I'm a father of 4 daughters.
You know, my choice, my body and stuff like that. And it is. I'm not going to say anything, you know, too deep into that.
Not with all these black women behind the camera.
You know what I'm saying? But I don't get...
Damn shame. Shout out to that one brother that kept it real. And it didn't allow the black women behind the camera, as Kenny Burns said, influence what he was saying.
You know what I'm saying? When we empower and give women the right to choose in every aspect of their life, we as a society advance. In every aspect, when we empower and give women the right to choose in every aspect of their life, we as a society advance.
Yo, this is crazy.
All right, we're back now with Kenny Burns and Vic Mensa. Kenny, man, what, do black men see reproductive rights as an important issue?
I think here we all believe that black women will save the planet, correct?
Yeah.
I think we all believe that black women will save the planet. Yo, I really feel bad for fathers out there. I feel bad for my dad. Sometimes I just think about him. Being a father may be one of the most underappreciated roles. And matter of fact, let me rephrase that. Being a father that stands on principles, that is a disciplinarian, that takes on a leadership role and doesn't just try to be liked by their kids, may be the most underappreciated role. It's, why are they saying this? What other community? We are doing the worst in America. There's a reason why we are the only people that say stuff like this. It's like they're not even talking about black men and black women are going to save the planet. We all believe here that black women are going to save the planet. Why are you saying this? Now, this is who I was talking about. Kenny Burns, right? This is who I was talking about. The Senior Vice President of Brand Development for Combs Enterprises. Yes, Sean Combs. P. Diddy. P. Diddy. So you go from working with Diddy. Now, I don't know what exactly you were doing. The VP of, what did I say? Where did I write it down at? VP of Brand Development. Seems like a pretty big role. Senior VP. So you were working with somebody that was pushing what type of culture? Was Diddy pushing a black women are going to save the world culture, or I'm going to exploit black women culture? And I'm not even talking about I'm not talking about the case. I'm talking about the music. I'm talking about the entertainment that he was pushing out. I don't know until he goes to court and deals with that in court, I'm not. That's over there. I'm talking about the things that we saw him pushing in the music industry. But Kenny Burns is talking about, like, listen, yo, how is it just that nobody has a father that's in their life? Like, is it just that we don't have we don't have a father that we love, so therefore we're okay with other men saying these type of things? Like how could you feel comfortable making your father feel like this? Yo, one thing, if you got a father in your life, you better appreciate it. You better appreciate that man. You better appreciate that man. Especially you got a father in your life that has committed to his family and is not being like all the... If you have a father that commits to your family, that is a leader, you got... Man... There's nothing that ever can be done to thank that man for the role that he's played. Especially considering, think about this, especially considering, you know how it's easy for, and thank your mother too, because it's easy to make a reason why you should get divorced. So if you grew up in a family where both of your parents were together, every couple goes through things where if they want to, they could say, certain things happened that were enough for us to justify, let's break this off. We're not happy. We're going through some stuff. We'll be better off. It's just, let's co-parent. Let's do it. A lot easier. Every relationship, I'm sure, could justify saying that. And I'm not speaking down on the people that do, but I'm talking about showing some love and appreciation for the fathers that stay there, for the fathers that don't take silly risks, for the fathers that exercise discipline so they don't put themselves in a position to where they're trying to satisfy their urges and end up messing up their family. But we live in a society where you got all these black men celebrating black women as if there's no such thing as the black man. And then a lot of them want to claim that they're religious. They want to claim that they're Christian. Open up the Bible, right? So I guess women went from being the helpmeet to now fathers are less than the helpmeet. Oh, but we only talk about religion when it serves the purpose, right? Let's leave religion to the side. If we're talking about abortion, no, we'll leave religion to the side. If we're talking about, male leadership, we'll leave religion to the side. But it's these same folks that's running around going to all these mega churches, acting as if they're receiving the word, embracing God. Like, knock it off, man. Knock it off. We got a goofy culture. We have such a goofy culture. And that goofy culture was created by goofy men, in my opinion.
Important issue.
I think here we all believe that black women will say the planet correct.
Yeah.
We also believe that, at the end of the day, we come from a black woman, they should have rights to their bodies. We should not be in control of any woman's bodies. And as far as men are concerned, a lot of young men aren't ready to be fathers. And with this happening, it would put them into a place that they're not ready for.
Yo. Did you just hear what he just said? A lot of young black men are not ready to be fathers. So without abortions, it'll put them in a position that they're not ready for. Black men, how about y'all tell black boys and black girls to be more responsible and to stop having careless sex that is unprotected? Did you hear? Yo, where have we gone as a society? I don't know whether I started looking at this differently when I stopped eating meat. I don't know what it is. But how do we justify abortions by saying, oh, well, the black man, like that black boy, he's not ready for that? How do you say that and justify it without at least telling the black boy, hey, if you're going to have sex unprotected, then you better be prepared for what comes from with that? This isn't, I feel bad. When you care about people, when you really care about people, it's very hard to hear stuff like this, messages like this from people that have influential platforms, and to just be okay with it. Listen to how he just justified abortions. If you're cool with abortions, then say whatever, you cool with abortions. But listen to his justification on that.
A lot of young men aren't ready to be fathers. And with this happening, you know, it would put them into a place that they're not ready for.
He's acting as if like the stork delivers the baby. They're having unprotected sex. The boys are nutting, ejaculating in young girls without condoms on. You can't tell them to be safe, like within this message.
Vic, what do you think? What do you think about that?
Many men I spoke to felt that women's reproductive rights were important to them, but not their top priority. However, the fact remains that maternal mortality rates amongst black women are exponentially higher in states with Republican-led abortion bans. As black men, our primary responsibility.
So because mortality rates are high with black women giving birth, that's why we're justifying abortions?
In this humanity is to protect black women.
Yes, it is.
That's why we're here.
If you want to protect black women, then how about telling black boys to be more responsible and to have more discipline? How about being real with your daughters, your nieces, your goddaughters, your granddaughters, and tell them to keep their legs closed until they're ready, at least to use condoms? Can we start with that? These are simps, man. They're just... So I got a lunch tomorrow. I got a lunch tomorrow that I'm excited to have with my big cousin. So I have a big cousin who is one of the, like, the most popular, I don't know what, top doulas in the country. She's been at the White House, worked with Kamala, worked with the administration when it comes to women's reproductive health. And I'm going to ask her, because me knowing her, understanding like how she lives from a spiritual standpoint, one with nature, a lot of these different types, like I find it very hard to understand how somebody who's a doula, like, let me rephrase that, because I said it in a combative way. What I'm going to ask her is, like, what are her thoughts on abortions being put into reproductive rights as a doula? Somebody who's about, like, I just want to understand that. And for a lot of people that don't know what doulas are, I don't even know the exact, the definition, but they help deliver babies in a very natural way. Like, they're doula, you'll have your baby born at the house. That's my understanding of it. So I'm going to ask, obviously, tomorrow, like, what exactly, do you do? But also, how do you align yourself with certain groups that are pushing abortions, especially understanding Margaret Sanger and why abortions were created in the first place, why Planned Parenthood was created in the first place? You get what I'm saying? So let's keep moving on here.
And I think protecting black women begins and ends with listening to them about what makes them feel safe. And they overwhelmingly support the right to choose what happens with their body. The majority of
there's a lot of decisions that black people as a community, I'm talking to specifically black people, support overwhelmingly. We support eating unhealthy foods overwhelmingly. We support not working out overwhelmingly. We support disrespecting women and having sex with as many women as we can. And I'm a man. That's what we're into. That's the urge that has been created based on the culture that we live in. That's what we grow up on. So
over 75 to 80%. So I think that it's an issue of paramount importance to us and to me.
Just because the overwhelmingly majority of people do something does not mean that it's right. Let's keep going here. Let's keep going here. So I want to move on to, did we already move past that? Hold on one second. 40. Oh, I missed something. Hold on. I think I missed something that I wanted to touch on. No, we're just gonna have to leave that there. We're just gonna have to leave that there. All right, so I want to move on to. I was gonna show you this clip of D.L. Hughley saying that his granddaughter, D.L. Hughley was born in 1964. He said his granddaughter was born with fewer rights than him. We're gonna move on actually after that. It's already pretty late. We only got a couple more clips to go through. Can't believe y'all are
Black
still here.
woman, a black people issue. Because of the history that you mentioned, for hundreds of years, we were considered chattel in this country, property of other people. Yeah. Right? Black women were having the children of their rapists, who were the enslavers.
Right.
But you know what is also part of America's story? In the 1900s, the sterilization of black women.
Yeah.
The sterilization of poor women.
Why are they clapping when he's mentioning sterilization? Sterile means that you can't have a kid. So if people were trying to prevent us from having kids, now we just voluntarily do it. Does that make sense?
Millions of women were denied the right to ever have children because they were poor or because they were considered feeble-minded. Right. And that was state law and federal. It was eugenics.
You just heard D.L. Hughley say eugenics. You know who was with eugenics? Margaret Singer, the lady who started Planned Parenthood. That's why she moved her clinic into Brooklyn, into black neighborhoods in particular, as well as some other groups, but black neighborhoods in particular, to practice eugenics. She didn't provide reproductive rights in the wealthy white community that she was living in. She decided to go to a black community and start making money off of aborting babies because she was into eugenics and creating one race. So here we're calling Trump Hitler, but in all actuality, the lady that created this abortion phenomenon with Planned Parenthood, she was into eugenics. That was her whole purpose with Planned Parenthood. They're complaining about sterilization. You got all these goofy dudes clapping about it, not even realizing that abortion is the new form of sterilization.
But it was policy. And we are living in a time where people's rights are being taken, that autonomy is being taken, again, in policy, again, in law. And so we have to realize the intersectionality that black women are living with. They're dealing with the pain of being black, right? And also the promise that comes with that, but they're dealing with the pain of being a woman. And also the promise of that, where we, as black men, we do benefit from patriarchy.
Yeah.
We men.
Yes.
We benefit from sex. We benefit.
You
And
can
it's all
stop
right
talking
to
right
tell
now.
it.
That's enough.
It's all right to tell it.
Stop it.
It's all right to tell it. But then
this ain't the Oprah Summit. Stop it.
Before I get to before I get to the mountaintop, because I'll do it here. Look, what comes with it.
Yeah. People like, are y'all seeing this? Like y'all, like this is what, this is genuine to you. This is why people are. This is why young black men, as well as young men, period, are going to Trump. Bro, you can't see Pat. Like this dude he's Barack Obama 2.0. Like this is a we say we don't want politicians. We want people to shoot it to us straight. Like, come on, all the pandering. Stop it.
What comes is our power, and using our power to uplift the voices of those who have been made powerless.
Absolutely. Michael. What is this?
Yo, look at this dude. Look at this dude. Hold on. Look at
those
him.
who have been made powerless.
Absolutely.
Hold on. Look at him right here. Look at the lean. Hey, bro,
what is this? What is this notion that we're not? That's not an issue that is supposed to be top of the ticket. The idea that's important to us. What do you think of that?
How many of us have daughters and sisters? Okay.
You see all the bald dudes in here? They got daughters. Wait, I mean,
yeah, exactly. I don't subscribe to the narrative that we are not in support of women's reproductive rights. I just won't subscribe to that. I think it's another narrative that they're trying to put on us to divide us. And I believe that historically, the civil rights movement was accomplished by black men and black women coming together. And I believe that right now, black women and black men are coming together when it comes to reproductive rights. Black men will always stand up for their daughters and their sisters and their mamas. That is a known fact. That is a known fact. So if you are one of those individuals who's thinking selfishly about this particular election, and you thinking, well, you know, I'm not really feeling this because, you know, there's nothing in it for you. Think about your sister. Think about your daughter. Think about your niece. Sometimes it is about us, but oftentimes it's about our community. And all of the women in our community deserve better.
All right, so we're gonna go to the closing remarks, and I do agree, ladies, y'all deserve better. I do agree with that. Let's look at the closing
Whether it was
remarks.
Malcolm X and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. rising to meet their moment, this is out. Whether rising to meet their moment, whether it was Frederick Douglass rising to meet his moment, whether it was Malcolm X and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. rising to meet their moment.
One thing I do not allow is people speaking about Malcolm playing around with his, like, playing with Malcolm's purpose, playing with his vision, playing with his legacy. Even Martin, I'm not saying even Martin, I just grew up more attracted to Malcolm. But then when you actually learn more about Martin, you realize, like, oh, Martin wasn't the soft, you know, just I have a dream person. That wasn't really him. Matter of fact, Martin was the same person that realized that, what did he say, apparently, to one of his friends, that he feared that he fears that he's led his people into a burning house. He's the one, Martin put all his eggs in a basket of trying to work with Democrats, and then realized that they were just playing him all along. And that's when he made the decision to say, you know what? I can't work with them. I actually got to start. We got to start something different. You know what we're going to do? We're going to hit them in their pockets. We're going to start boycotting. And they knew how much power he had. So therefore, what did they decide to do? They decided to get rid of him. Now, Malcolm, when people bring up Malcolm, it really bothers me, because everybody's a fan of Malcolm, but does not listen and understand what Malcolm was saying. So I'm going to bring up I think I got something from Malcolm. Hold on. Oh, man. Let me hold on. Boy. Let me look it up on this one. My fault. It's getting late. I know I got to get y'all out of here. My apologies. I want y'all to see this. So I believe this one is taken from the ballot or the bullet, but I just wanted to get a clip just to show y'all how Malcolm thought about liberal Americans. So let's take a look at this video. So since all these this is a liberal Democrat platform, clearly, this Black Men's Summit, and they got the nerve to reference Malcolm, let's actually see what Malcolm thought about these situations. Let's actually hear what Malcolm's thoughts were.
In this crooked game of power politics here in America, the Negro, namely the race problem, integration, civil rights issue, are all nothing but tools used by the whites who call themselves liberals against another group of whites who call themselves conservatives, either to get into power or to retain power. Among whites here in America, the political
Hold on, I need y'all to listen.
who call themselves
I need y'all to listen.
Integration, civil rights issue, are all nothing but tools used by the whites who call themselves liberals against another group of whites who call themselves conservatives, either to get into power or to retain power. Among whites here in America, the political teams are no longer divided into Democrats and Republicans. The whites who are now struggling for control of the American political throne are divided into liberal and conservative camps. The white liberals from both parties cross party lines to work together toward the same goal, and white conservatives from both parties do likewise. The white liberal differs from the white conservative only in one way. The liberal is more deceitful, more hypocritical than the conservative. Both want power. But the white liberal is the one who has perfected the art of posing as the Negro's friend and benefactor. And by winning the friendship and support of the Negro, the white liberal is able to use the Negro as a pawn or a weapon in this political football game that is constantly raging between the white liberals and the white conservatives. The American Negro is nothing but a political football, and the white liberals control this ball through tricks or tokenism, false promises of integration and civil rights. In this game of deceiving and using the American Negro, the white liberals have complete cooperation of the Negro civil rights leader, who sell our people out for a few crumbs of token recognition, token gains, token progress.
Not letting people play with Malcolm like that. Not letting them play with Malcolm's legacy like that. You got the nerve. This is our Malcolm moment. This is our Martin moment. Knock it off. This is why you really got to do your due diligence and research. This is crazy. They really finesse us. They really finesse us. They completely finesse us with this stuff. This man is standing on certain principles, talking about he's standing on Malcolm and Martin. The liberals deceived them. Martin used to refer to liberals as the fox and conservatives as the wolves, where you see a wolf coming, so you know how to prepare yourself. But a fox is going to come to you smiling, even with his teeth showing. He said it still looks like he's smiling, acting like they cuddly, and then they're going to destroy. Like that's how Malcolm used to describe it, and that's exactly what's happening right now. Exactly what's happening right now. We think George Soros is our friend. He supports all Black Lives Matter.
This is ours. And it is our opportunity to make sure that the future that we want to live in is more possible. And that is why we have to elect Vice President Kamala Harris to the presidency of the United States of America. That's why we have to do this. So this is it. This is our time. This is our moment. Let's win this thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's win this thing.
Amen.
Malcolm X told us that the most disrespected.
This man references Malcolm X again.
James.
Malcolm X told us that the most disrespected, unprotected, and neglected person in this country is a black woman. And we watched Donald Trump call my Howard alum sister, Vice President Kamala Harris, my AKA Divine Nine sister Kamala Harris, a bitch. If that pisses.
He just said that we watched Donald Trump call Kamala Harris a B word. Did y'all see that? And shout out to USA, Great Satan. Finally, someone who listens to right. Hey, shout out to you, man. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure everybody likes and subscribe. I'm so bad with telling y'all to reminding y'all to like and stuff like that. I just really like having the combos with y'all. But this man just said that Donald Trump called Kamala Harris a B word and said that we all heard it. So I Googled. I had to look it up. I Googled. I'm like, yo, did Donald Trump call Kamala Harris the B word? And I missed that video or something like that. I'm sure Joy Reid would have loved to report on that. I'm sure Reverend Al would have said something about it. Like, did I miss that? And I found a couple articles from like Vanity, whatever. And all these liberal places where they said that apparently Donald Trump has referred to Kamala Harris as the B word in private. For somebody who y'all say says the wildest things and has no problem saying it and just says whatever comes to his mind, it's very funny that y'all are saying that he's reporting on something that he said in private. So what if he said it in private? So what if he said it in private? What do we say in our private conversations about people? What do we say in our private conversations about our family? And we're talking about Donald Trump. Like, this man is trying to appeal to us. He mentions Malcolm X said that the black woman is the least protected and then says that Donald Trump called her the B word. And you know what's crazy? I looked at this video. So this video came up where I was like, oh, did Trump really say it? And maybe this is where he got it. Because at first when I was listening to it, I'm like, yo, Trump really just called her a B word? Y'all take a listen to it. He said effing bad.
He's a fierce person. He's a fierce man. A very tough guy.
I'm gonna play the whole video.
He gave me so much. How did I do with the debate the other night? Oh, amazing. He kicked that old broken down pile of crap. Yeah. It's a bad guy. He just quit, you know. He's quitting the race.
He's talking about Biden.
I got him out of the race. And that means we have Kamala. I think she's going to be better. She's so bad. She's so pathetic. It's so amazing. It's just so fucking bad. So I just can't imagine. But can you?
Now, what did y'all hear? When I first heard it, I was like, yo, he definitely, like, yo, what? Like, did he say that? He said effing bad. And it was confirmed after this that he said effing bad, even on liberal platforms. But then they started running a story saying that he's been saying it in private. I'm going to play it again. She's so effing bad.
She's so bad. She's so pathetic. It's so amazing. It's just so fucking bad. So I just can't imagine. But can you imagine that?
Go listen to it on your own. I want to turn up the volume and see if y'all, just to make sure y'all can hear it. Because I really thought that he said the B word at first.
It's just so fucking bad. So I just can't imagine. She's so pathetic. It's so amazing. It's just so fucking bad. So I just can't imagine. But can you?
Oh, man. I don't know. I keep saying I don't know. Let's keep going. I think I got one more part. Matter of fact, I think that's it. Let me get Trump off the screen. Man. I'm gonna make this quick. Y'all know what we do on every show. I know it's already 11:30, but we still have to do it on every show. For those that are not familiar, after every show, we take 45 seconds to just sit in silence, get our breath work, meditate, manifest, whatever it is that you need to do to kind of take a breath and decompress after these type of conversations. So let's do that right now. If you're in a safe place, close your eyes. As you're breathing, breathe in all positive energy while breathing out all the negative. Actually feel it while you're doing it, breathing in from your diaphragm. Trust me, it helps. I'm going to put it on mute. I don't want y'all listening to me breathing. So ready, go. One more deep breath. All right. Yo, appreciate y'all. Y'all know what it is. Shout out to all the people, all my people, all the OG network people. Y'all my people, I'm your people. Uncompetitive, definitely appreciate the love. Y'all know what we do. We have conversations here. We're not disrespecting anybody. We're really just bringing people together. So therefore, we can engage in these conversations, get to some real solutions, and just get different perspectives. Anybody can be wrong. I'm voting on Monday. I may look back at that and say that was wrong. I don't know. I feel good about it right now as much as I can. You know, I'm going for it. But that's just how anything in life is. Now, we try to learn from as much as we can as far as, you know, what happens previously. But you know, we all just got to be open. We got to be open, and we can never we don't need to allow these conversations to be turning into anything that's having us argue with our family, our friends. So let's just make sure that we keep that, you know, first things first, you know, our family first, and then, you know, the politics and everything else, we can disagree on those, but still prioritize our relationships. So with that, y'all know what we do here. We elevate on purpose, both from an intentional standpoint as well as raising our standards so that we will become the individuals we need to become, or the leaders, I should say, that we need to become in order to not only achieve the things that we look to achieve as far as our goals, but, you know, to provide to our communities, in whatever role that we're playing, to provide to our communities, our village and tribes. We're definitely big on that. So let's continue to elevate on purpose, onward and upward, strength and honor. Y'all know what it is. We get to the bag. What's in your bag is up to you, but what's in our bag, those are the things that we're collecting and making sure that we're aligned with as we strive for purposeful abundance. So what's in my bag? Peace, love, and happiness. And of course, health, wealth, and in everything that we do, integrity. So appreciate y'all. I don't know how y'all stayed on for 2.5 hours. Next week, just to give y'all the heads up, we will be going live from 8 to 8. I think that's what we're on. Maybe a little bit earlier, but let me just let y'all go. I know it's late. I'll see y'all soon. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. And I'll see y'all on Friday, if not tomorrow. And that's a wrap.